Do you ever feel overwhelmed by the ever-changing world of technology? Tech It Out can help make some sense of it all. Breaking down geek speak into street speak, technology columnist, author, and TV personality Mark Saltzman covers consumer technology each week for every listener. Mark tackles the latest news, reviews, and how-tos to help you understand what's hot, what's not, and why.
Hey everyone, welcome to Tech It Out. It's episode 373. Hope you're all doing great today, as we're now well into December and the holidays are rapidly approaching. In fact, this hour we'll talk with Visa about a brand new way to pay. Speaking of shopping, it's really cool. It's a new card and companion app that's both a debit and credit card in one, and more. I've never heard of this before, but sounds super versatile. So we're going to kick off Tech It Out this hour with a chat about that with Visa. And speaking of the holidays, we'll also hear this hour about some gadget gift ideas from digital lifestyle expert Mario Armstrong, and I'll share some high-tech suggestions as well. And I was at Amazon's AWS event last week in Vegas called reInvent. It's the annual Amazon Web Services AWS show. And so this hour, I'll play two interviews that I recorded there, both tied to accessibility, how technology, including AI, is helping people live better, richer lives. One is tied to those who are deaf or hard of hearing, and the other solution is for those who are blind or seeing impaired. And I'll play two different interviews next weekend from the AWS reInvent show, which was really wild. The big news, by the way, this week was tied to Nova, as you may have heard in the news. It's being referred to as a quote-unquote groundbreaking generative AI or Gen AI platform that can process text, images, and videos, and upping the game against the likes of OpenAI, Google Gemini, Microsoft Copilot, and others. There are countless applications for having this AI help you do more in less time, essentially, for companies, to help flesh out business proposals, could summarize meetings, create images and videos to use on your website, and a lot more. In fact, in 2025, Amazon Nova will introduce two additional models, including a speech-to-speech model that will understand speech and interpret verbal cues like tone and cadence and deliver natural, human-like interactions back at you. As you likely know, generative AI or Gen AI today is mostly text to text. You type in a query, a question or a command, and then you read the answer via text. So things are about to change. So we have a very packed show to get to. Tech It Out is powered by Intel Core Ultra Series 2 PCs. Speaking of AI, these are those AI PCs, those laptops that have a ton of smarts to them on the device itself. So I'll tell you more about that shortly, but let's officially kick off the new show with our first interview. It's fairly new, and so chances are you haven't yet heard of Visa Flexible Credential. And so I'm excited to interview my next guest so he can tell you all about it. Shoppers are going to love this. Joining us from Visa to tell us all about Visa Flexible Credential, or VFC for short, is Mark Nelson, Head of Consumer Products. Good to chat with you again, Mark.
Good to be here as well.
Excellent. So at a high level, what is Visa Flexible Credential all about, and who is it for?
Yeah, this is kind of a new way of thinking about your card. Historically, your card that you got from your bank, it could do one thing. Like you had a debit card and it could do debit, or you had a credit card that could only do credit. This new Flex Credential allows the consumer to pick how do they want that card to act? What's the funding source for that transaction? Think of it just like a modern payment credential. You have an app that the bank would give you, and you would then decide kind of when you're making a transaction, do you want this to be paid now in full? Do you want to pay over time? Do you want to pay in installments? Do you want to pay in points? It just provides a variety of different ways that you can pay for any given transaction. So we think about it as just like modernizing that payment credential.
Got it. All right. Sounds a lot more flexible and versatile. So it's a credit card and a debit card and supported by a companion app. And you mentioned about paying in installments. So is this where the Affirm announcement comes in?
Yeah, we did recently announce that Firm is going live with a card, the Flex Credential, that does both pay full or pay later. So it has both that debit card type of functionality that's linked with installments. And we have been working with them for a few years now. And so we're really happy that we're able to kind of bring this to the marketplace with them.
Can you walk us through how it works? Let's say I'm doing some pre-holiday shopping.
Yeah, if you have your Affirm Visa Flex Credential, that's the debit Flex Credential, go into the app and you would say, okay, I'm ready to check out. I select the merchant and I would say I want to pay later, if you wanted to pay with installments, you would then be displayed with your installment repayment options, like how many months do you want to, repayment plans do you want? And once you select it, then your card is ready to be used. And when you use that card now to check out at that merchant, it's now treated like an installment purchase.
All right, so I'm buying a 4K TV for my family over Cyber Monday, and it's $1,000. I could have the option via Affirm and through this partnership with Visa, split it into, say, 4 payments of $250 over as many months.
That's right.
Cool. Now, let's say I'm traveling overseas. I understand there's another partnership announcement Visa recently made, this multi-currency option. I was in Berlin for business in September, for example. Then I went to Greece with my wife, Kelly, for a little vacation before we came back to North America. So how would that work there?
Yeah, so that would be an example of a multi-currency flex credential. And we just announced our partnership with Live Bank. They are in the UAE, and it was designed because they have a lot of customers who spend a good number of months living outside of the UAE. So let's say you're a student and you're going to school in London and you're there for 5 months, or maybe you're a family that spends, the summer outside and somewhere cooler. And so you want to have multiple currencies. It's one for your home location as well as the location that you're currently in. And so what Live has done is they let the consumer have multiple accounts that have different currency options. And so then if you happen to be in the UK for your summer, or for the tuition, you can select, I want to pay in the local currency, so British pounds, and then every transaction going forward would be in British pounds. And then when you go back to the UAE, you can flip back and say, I want it now to be in my local currency. It just allows you to pay in local currency depending on kind of where you are.
It sounds like it's all about choice.
It is all about choice. That's right. Banks have done this before, but previously you would have 2 separate cards. You would have a separate card that would have maybe your British pounds, or a separate card for euros. And so really this Flex credential allows you to have one single card, a digital card or a plastic card, and it lets you then configure it via this app.
If you're just joining us now in Radio Land, we're chatting with Mark Nelson, head of consumer products at Visa. As the name suggests, Visa Flexible Credential is a flexible payment solution that allows consumers to access multiple funding sources with a single card. VFC enables you to switch between debit and credit installments via Affirm, multi-currency options, as we also just covered, rewards points, and more. Now, Mark, is this just for brick and mortar purchases, or as I gave that sample scenario about Cyber Monday, it works online as well?
Yeah, Flex Credential can work for both brick and mortar in store as well as online purchases. That's right.
Cool. Now, before we wrap up, Mark, I understand Visa has some data that found the way people are paying or shopping has changed more in the past 5 years than in the last 50. Is that really true?
Yes, I think in general, just because the advancements, particularly in mobile devices and mobile wallets, it's just allowing for so many more ways to pay. Contactless payments in general, they have been growing globally. And so many people now are so comfortable just tapping and going when they check out. And so there's so many services that have been deployed over the last couple of years. It's really just exciting to see.
Yeah, I remember going from the charge card to PIN to tap, then my watch and my phone as well, where my Visa cards are loaded into for those digital wallets. So it certainly has changed for sure. And of course, the advent of online shopping on top of retail, which is great. And then one more question, if I may, how is generative AI changing how we pay? That's been the big buzzword for the last 2 years, since November of 2022. How is it changing the payment process?
I think AI in general has helped just make payments safer. And so one way that this is showing up is in some markets, like in Europe. 10 years ago, when you bought something at the point of sale, you always had to enter a PIN, because it was a way that we could determine that, yes, this is a genuine consumer that's conducting the transaction. But we've been building risk models and machine learning models for decades now. And as the machines get faster and faster, the models just get better and better. And so what's happening is now behind the scenes, we're able to determine in real time, is this the genuine customer or not? Is this you? And so it just means that more and more as you shop and you buy something, you're not prompted to go and enter a PIN or enter a password or enter a one-time passcode. everything just sort of seamlessly works better now. And it's hard to like kind of notice this on a day-to-day basis, but over the years, you're just going to see more and more transactions become really seamless, yet they're still incredibly safe behind the scenes.
Yeah, I always say the best technology is invisible. Right.
Yeah, that's right.
And I know Visa has been protecting purchases for decades, but happy to hear that it's getting more secure and more seamless. Finally, Mark, what's the best website to learn more about Visa Flexible Credential? Or if anybody's listening that would like one of these cards, do they start at their bank? Like, what's the process?
It's still pretty early days. And so what I would say for customers, you can learn more about this at visa.com. We have some material on it. And then we're starting with these fintechs because it's a little bit easier for them to start and develop this technology. And then as this technology matures, you'll start to see some of the larger banks start to offer this up as well.
All right, Mark, that's great. So visa.com, then just do a search for Visa Flexible Credential or VFC. Thanks so much for your time. It's always great chatting with you, and I look forward to the next one. All the best and happy holidays as well.
Thanks so much, Mark.
You are listening to Tech It Out. I'm your host, Mark Saltzman. We have a busy show for you today. We just heard from Visa about a new kind of card and companion app. Later on in the program, we'll chat with digital lifestyle expert Mario Armstrong for some gadget gift ideas. But when we return after this short break, I'm going to play the first of 2 interviews recorded at Amazon's reInvent show in Las Vegas this past week with some wild technology. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Listen to Tech It Out whenever you want. Find the Tech It Out podcast at iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back to Tech It Out. If you're in the market for a new PC, there's never been a more exciting time. Thanks to extremely powerful devices infused with AI, plus longer battery life than we've ever seen before, countless designs like touch and convertibles that can turn a laptop into a tablet by simply bending it. There's stunning OLED displays and super thin and light form factors. As usual, Intel is leading the charge. Now with brand new Intel Core Ultra PCs Series 2 laptops that are powering a new generation of portable PCs across more than 20 computer manufacturers. They can deliver much more performance, up to 80% more for gaming compared to last year's machines. Yet, amazingly, consume up to 50% less power to do so. This translates to battery life of more than 20 hours with some applications. By fusing a CPU with a GPU for graphics and a new NPU or neural processing unit, these Intel-powered Windows 11 laptops are capable of delivering better AI experiences through Copilot Plus, including up to 4 times faster image generation compared to last year. Now available, these new Intel Core Ultra Series 2 laptops are branded with a 200V series naming convention to indicate it's a Series 2 model. Intel.com has more. That's Intel.com. As listeners of this show know, I get excited about technology that can enhance or enrich people's lives. And with that comes accessibility tools to even the playing field for everybody. Yesterday, I spoke with a company here at AWS in Las Vegas called Lumen that has created a wearable headset to help those who are blind or vision impaired better navigate around city streets with tactical, like vibration, cues, almost like a guide dog that could nudge you a certain way. Now we're going to learn about a tool for those who are deaf or hard of hearing. We're joined by Yami Payano. She is CEO and co-founder of SanDisk. It's very nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you. Thank you for having me here today.
Why don't we dive right in? What is SanDisk?
So SanDisk is essentially an interpreting agency that is led by AI. So we've created a proprietary software that would essentially do the 2 mechanisms that an interpreter does, which is interpret sign language into voice and then voice back into sign language. And then we also have a human force behind it, because at the end of the day, our goal is to provide accessibility, and we understand that AI is not for everywhere, but the goal here is how do we scale up interpretation, because there's 48 million deaf and hard of hearing in the US. There's a huge interpreter shortage. There's only 10,000 certified interpreters. That's like 1 interpreter for a lot of deaf people. So our goal is really making sure that deaf people get access everywhere. And in addition to that, our technology extends beyond interpretation to be able to now anything that has voice recognition now can be activated through sign language. So think about about all the amazing AI agents that are being created that are voice activated or Zoom summary, right? We all now use summarization at the end of our calls in Zoom and other video conferencing calls. So imagine being able to now have signers and deaf people in the workforce that can have that same tool as well.
All right. So would this tool, SanDisk, be available to those who do online video chatting, like you're Zooming with your colleagues, or even on a consumer level with family and friends, and there's like a AI avatar in the corner that is signing what you are saying verbally, and then the person who is signing on the other end, who is deaf or hard of hearing, they can sign back, and then it's a simulated voice. Is that fair? And is it mostly for online video communication?
Yes. So, right, that's exactly right. There's a fake person that is in the center, and then the deaf person can sign, and we can speak into it, and there will be a simulated voice. It is for online, and we do have a in-person app that the deaf consumers don't need to pay for. It is more for them to get used to the technology. This is brand new AI. So really making sure that the deaf consumer gets used to it from the comfort of their home. So we do offer it for them to use it at home. But we understand that the deaf community should not pay for their own accessibility. So we offer it at the consumer level, and we're also offering it to enterprises.
All right. So do you mean then, like just like you and I are talking in the same room right now, that if you had it on your phone, that this could kind of be a mediator between us two if you were deaf and I did not speak ASL?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, thanks for that. Earlier this year, I was at an Intel event, and they had something similar that they were demonstrating on stage. How does AWS help you deliver this service?
Yeah, I think that our infrastructure takes into account latency because the real-time communication needs to happen instantaneously and in real time. So right now, our system is equal to the latency of an interpreter. So usually, because we're talking about ASL and English, two different, completely different languages with two different grammatical structure, there is about a 3 to 2 second lag time that any interpreter will have. And the deaf community is very used to it. What my team is super excited about AWS is sort of AWS Trainium, AWS Inforatia, which really allows us to train these models and operate them at a lower cost so that then when we're talking about things like using smaller models on the phone or on device, well, now that is a reality. And we've seen what has happened with voice recognition, where now voice recognition is essentially everywhere. That is because we have smaller models that can do that. And AWS has allowed us to get there through some of their technology.
We are chatting with Yami Payano. She's CEO and co-founder of SanDisk. That's the name of the company and the solution, the service?
Yes, correct. So please go to www.sign-speak.com.
All right, sign-speak.com to learn more. Yami, it's been a pleasure chatting with you. Thank you so much, and have a great rest of your AWS reInvent show.
Thank you, and same to you.
All right, so at the top of that interview, I alluded to Lumen, which is the headset for those who are blind or with impaired vision. So we're going to get to that interview when we return on Tech It Out. Stick with us. We got a lot more coming right up after this short break.
Want to follow Mark? Google him. Mark with a C and Saltzman with a Z. Breaking down geek speak into street speak. This is Tech It Out. Tech It Out with technology columnist, author, and TV personality Mark Saltzman.
Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to Tech It Out. All right, so as I mentioned earlier in the show, you can probably hear that I'm at AWS reInvent, an annual conference in Las Vegas that celebrates all things Amazon Web Services, including cloud computing and AI. And I'm here with Cornel Amariei. He is the founder of Lumen, a company that's doing some really exciting things when it comes to accessibility. I'll let Cornel explain. First of all, it was a great presentation.
Thank you so much for having me. I absolutely love it to be here in Vegas and showcasing what we built. It's my second time this year over here in Vegas. Yeah. So excited to be here. We're based in Romania, so Eastern Europe, Romania, far away from home, heavily jet-lagged.
All right, before we talk about the solution, which is the product that you showed us, let's identify the problem. I know that you're focusing mostly on those who are seeing impaired or blind, so tell us about what those folks are able to do today and what your product can do.
Sure. So to put a bit of numbers here, right now we have over 300 million people which are visually impaired. 40 plus million of them are fully blind. And if you check what solutions they use today for their mobility, they have the white cane, the stick as you call it, or the guide dog or the service dog for the visually impaired. And if you look at those solutions, they're thousands of years old and they have some limitations. Now, the guide dog, it's a great solution. It can do amazing things. But last year we spent 500 million euros or dollars to train just 2,200 guide dogs. That is not scalable. And in the entire world, to 300 million visually impaired, you only have 28,000 service dogs. Again, those are not numbers who match. So that's where we started from. We said, hey, this is the problem. It's clear that a service dog is not scalable, but what it does is very useful for the visually impaired. So can we use technology to do something about it?
So in essence, and I'm paraphrasing here, you developed an electronic guide dog. Is that fair? And hopefully that's not an insulting comparison.
Well, definitely. This was our goal. Our goal was to replicate what the service dog or the guide dog was doing, but for all the people who cannot have a guide dog for various reasons. So yes, we used technology to replicate those features, but we ended up doing even more than what the guide dog can do.
All right. So with that in mind, this is radio, so people can't see it, but it's a headset that you would put on, not unlike a VR, virtual reality headset, or a mixed reality headset like Apple Vision Pro or Meta Quest 3, that kind of thing. So can you explain what it can do for those who wear it?
Definitely. So let me do an analogy with the guide dog. If you think of a guide dog, the guide dog works by pulling your hand, avoiding you from obstacles, keeping you on the sidewalk, stopping you at crossings. We do the same, but we are not on your hand, we're on your head, we're a headset. So rather than pulling your hand, we actually say that we pull your head. We use haptics to guide you, to point you in the direction where you have to go in order to avoid obstacles, to stay safe, or even to take you to your destination. So for example, you can share a location from Google Maps or from Apple Maps to the device, and the device will actually take you there, stopping you crossings, helping you navigate them, keeping you on the sidewalk. And with time, roughly by end of next year, I think we can even integrate public transport, and that would be amazing. So you just put a location.
That would be a game changer.
Which is far away, and then the device will take you to the bus station, will help you go to the right bus, and will help you get out of it. That is pretty incredible. We already have it running in a few geofence locations, but very, very soon we're going to release that internationally.
All right, so this is a mobility aid for navigation purposes primarily, and like a guide dog, it would help you navigate around an obstacle such as a lamppost or a park bench or a person, a pedestrian. So this is doing it with haptic or vibration feedback and audio cues too.
Yes, that is correct. But it's so much more. Let me give you an example. A sidewalk, it's a safe place to go. A road, it is not. A road doesn't necessarily have obstacles, so it can be a very, very free road. There can be no cars there. But we know how to keep you on the sidewalk and to keep you navigating on that sidewalk. And that's actually a marriage of AI and classical computer science, which we were able to come true.
We are chatting with Cornel Amariei. He is the founder of Lumen. This is the company behind a headset that's coming out as early as Q1 or early next year in Europe to start. The name of the company is Lumen, Lumen, but is the name of the product the same as well?
The product, we call them the glasses. It's as simple as that. We call them
the glasses. That's it.
That's it. Just glasses. We call them glasses. They're more similar with a headset than with a pair of glasses. But that's just the name we began with, and we kind of stuck with it. During
your presentation, and as you can hear, I am here at AWS, Amazon's annual cloud and AI conference for developers primarily. You were giving us examples of what the headset can tell you. For example, it will tell you curb up or stairs down. This is something that you do here, but it works in conjunction with haptics, so it'll vibrate. Does it directionally give you that haptic feedback, like to the left, to the right, or is it one sensation all around? Like in my vehicle, for example, Cornel, if I'm not paying attention and I'm going over the lines to the left, my car will vibrate on my left side of my seat. It'll give me that cue. Is that similar?
It's even more analog than that. So you actually give you a ton of locations which you can feel. So the more you're out of a safe path, the more you'll feel that you're out of it. So it's much more than just left and right. So for example, I can blindfold, I can tell you go left, go right, and you will hit everything. So it has to be much more analog than that. So actually we give 15 different directions real time, but because we do it like 60 times a second, you'll actually feel something which is much more refined and analog. So you'll feel just how much to go to the left, how much to go to the right, and all of that.
Wow, very cool. And then finally, I understand you don't need to be connected to the internet for this to work. Computing is done on device, is that right?
Yes, everything we do is on device. We cannot afford to have latency or anything because of lack of signal or things like this. So everything safety related happens on the device. We do use internet for a few things, over-the-air updates, remote fleet management. Those are some things which we do use internet for, but overall you can use this technology with absolutely no internet access.
And battery life is a couple of hours?
Battery life is a full day, but usually we consider a full day like 2.5 hours of walking, continuous walking. If you don't walk, the device goes into a very low power state. However, you can extend it. So if you want to go like on an 8-hour hike, you just plug it in a USB-C battery pack and it will extend the battery life.
Finally, what's the best place for our listeners to learn more about the Lumen glasses? And if it's coming out as early as Q1 of next year, you obviously have an idea of price, if you can share that as well.
Definitely. So obviously for more information, www.lumen, DOTLUMEN.com. That's our website, lumen.com, and where you can find more details. And regarding pricing, as a medical device, it varies country by country. So obviously we're working with state-level reimbursement and subsidies in each country of the European Union to make this either free or at a very low cost. Yeah. Our goal is to have this at least 10 times less expensive than a service dog. So that's basically the line, but that means it's between $5,000 to $10,000 depending on where in Europe or in the world.
And as you said, that's before any subsidies or anything. So
yes, that's before subsidies. Right. For most people in Europe, this will be a free device.
Well, keep up the great work. It's fascinating technology. Nice to meet you, Cornel. Thanks again.
Thank you so much for having me.
And don't forget, next week on the program, I'll play 2 more interviews recorded at the Amazon Web Services event called reInvent. I think you're really going to like them. That's next weekend. You're listening to Tech It Out. Hope you're enjoying the show so far. Don't forget, we've got a couple of gadget gift guides to get to, beginning with Mario Armstrong after this short break, a digital lifestyle expert who's on this program from time to time. And I'll also share a few ideas as you may be looking to gift some tech to a loved one, a friend, a family member, a colleague, or hey, to yourself. Why not? So I'll share some ideas towards the end of the show as well. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Tech It Out.
Breaking down geek speak into street speak. Tech It Out, hosted by Mark Saltzman.
Welcome back to Tech It Out. Well, the holidays are here, and it's time to deck the halls and your shopping cart. Well, here to help us tech out the latest in tech toys as gift ideas is digital lifestyle expert Mario Armstrong. He's on the line with us to share what's hot this holiday season. Hey, Mario, I know it's almost Christmas, one of your favorite days of the year. How you doing?
Yes, it is. We're big like this in the family. We go all in.
You got the elf on the shelf?
Hot chocolate, elf on the shelf. You know, it's like November 1st hits for some reason in my household. And it's like, dang, man, we just passed by Thanksgiving and we just go right into Christmas. So we just love it. Yeah.
Mariah Carey on repeat on the smart speaker.
Mm-hmm. You've been talking to my wife. You know what the deal is.
All right, Mario, without further ado, let's get to some of your suggestions. Why don't we start with some tech upgrades for the holidays?
Okay. Yeah, Mark, I have 3 upgrades. One is in the laptop category. That's always, we could always use a refresh and know something new. So the HP OmniBook Ultra Flip 14, that's the name of it. It has the latest Intel Core Ultra processor. It's really fast. And what's really cool is that this is the world's first convertible AI PC. It's a 2-in-1, and it has inking and a haptic touchpad, which means when you use the pen or the stylus, it really feels more realistic when you're drawing. So if you're doing designs or architecture or blueprints or anything like that, when you're writing and drawing on it, it feels much more realistic. And it's got an extended battery life, because who needs to be looking for chargers
that is for sure.
and plugs.
I just came from an airport this morning, Mario, and yeah, you see those, we call them wall huggers, where, you know, their battery life is dying. Those poor folks who have to stay tethered to the wall, and they look miserable, you know, because their battery life died. They do. Okay.
Yeah, and it's never a convenient spot. Like, you have to sit on the dirty floor or something like that, because the outlets are never like next to a sofa. It's never going to happen.
There you go. A popular accessory for computers is, of course, a printer, especially if you've got young kids at home.
Yeah, so an easy one for the whole family is the HP Envy 6155E is the model number. It's an all-in-one, so it does everything. It's got the scanning, copying, and color printing on it as well. By the way, this one is made with 60% recycled plastic, which is great. And it does come with 3 months of free Instant Ink with the paper add-on option. Instant Ink is the ink that can be sent to you on a subscription before you run out. Well, you can also add paper to that mix as well. So they let you try it out for a couple months, see if you like it, but it's great because it always comes in handy whenever I'm getting ready to run out of ink. It seems to be the time I need to print.
Yeah, preemptively.
Yes, preemptively.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
And I think you've got one more tech upgrade, Mario, before we get our game on.
Yes, devices are always big. Smartphones, smartwatches. So Metro by T-Mobile's new Metro Flex plan, they have it so that you can get a free phone when you join, and then you can upgrade that phone every year with Metro's best deals, and then they have some select devices you can do that with. Like, for example, right now, one of the phones that you can grab is the Samsung Galaxy A35 5G, but you can also grab the Samsung Galaxy Smartwatch FE and do all of that for under $100, which is a steal. So that's really a great deal.
Flex indeed.
When you sign up. Yeah, flex indeed. That's right.
All right. So that Metro by T-Mobile. And I should mention to our listeners, Mario, that for all of these items, we're going to plug a website near the end where they can see them, grab links, see you chatting about them as well, most importantly.
Yep.
Why don't we now pivot and talk about buying something for a gamer on your gift list?
And I mean, this is a great gift because everybody, who doesn't love Sonic? Like Sonic the Hedgehog, come on, like it's a classic, right?
Sonic rhymes with iconic, yep.
So Sonic X Shadow Generations is the latest entry. This really combines classic Sonic, modern Sonic, and the new Shadows all in one collection. So it's got the iconic 2D and 3D visuals and levels, super fast pace, as Sonic is, lots of fun, unique experiences on this as well. It's around $49 for that, but it's also available on modern consoles and PCs.
And fun for the whole family. Finally, teaching or learning, education. This is all a great gift because sometimes we have enough stuff.
That's right, because, sometimes what we need to be thinking about is like making memories, not a list. So if you want to make a memory, one way to do that is something that you can learn or unique experience that stays with you. So Rosetta Stone is great with both of these. And it's great for anyone who wants to learn a language or for those that need to learn a language. Maybe you're in school and you need to sharpen up, but maybe the grandparents need a new hobby or something to do that keeps their brains active. Or maybe you have a sibling or a friend that's traveling internationally and they need to get strong on the language. You could also be thinking about like reconnecting a friend to their roots. Like they may really want to dig more into that. Whatever the example may be, they have a great special going on. It's half off of their lifetime unlimited membership to access all 25 languages for life. It's a great opportunity.
Well, I could have used that when we were in Mexico last month because my Spanish was no bueno. I can tell you that. Rosetta Stone, that's the OG of language lessons. And that's a great deal that they've got, in fact, to take advantage of for ahead of 2025. And then finally, Mario, we are chatting with digital lifestyle expert Mario Armstrong. Where can we go for more info?
So we have all of these things that I just mentioned with the fine print details, video, and links up on the website. Just go to inthenews.tv. And if you have questions for me, you may have heard me on Mark's show, send me an Instagram DM. That's the easy way to get me online. Just at Mario Armstrong on Instagram. Let me know that you heard me with Mark, and I'll get right back to you with any answers to your questions.
Awesome, buddy. Thanks for that. And I look forward to seeing you next month at the Consumer Electronics Show in Vegas.
We will both be in Vegas for the Consumer Electronics Show, trying to figure out how to cover about 30 or so football fields of technology.
Exactly. Well, before that, happy and healthy holidays. Merry Christmas to you and your family, Mario.
You too, my friend.
Even more Tech It Out coming right up after this.
Follow Mark Saltzman on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. Listen to Tech It Out whenever you want.
So as I mentioned earlier in the show, I had a lot of fun last weekend on Black Friday and Cyber Monday doing a bunch of TV interviews across the country, sharing some of my favorite gadget and game gift ideas. But even though we've now missed Black Friday and Cyber Monday, there's still some great sales. So I wanted to run through them with you, about 5 different suggestions, beginning with the hottest game for the PlayStation 5, Astrobot. It's a family-friendly adventure for kids and kids at heart. If you haven't not seen or played this yet, The storyline surrounds the PS5 mothership, a spaceship that is wrecked, and so you, as Astro and his robot crew, must travel through galaxies to rescue other bots to help repair your ship. And you're reunited with PlayStation heroes from previous games. It's so fun. So there's 50 planets, 150 heroes, tons of secrets and challenges, and Astrobot really does show off the power of the PS5, not just visually and with the surround sound audio, but the haptic controls. You feel the tension in the controller. It's pretty wild. Astrobot costs $59. You can go to PlayStation.com for more or head to your favorite big box retailer or games store. And yes, PS5 and PS5 Pro, the new console, is also on sale at several places leading up to the holidays. Speaking of kids, the perfect safe first phone for kids they can wear on their wrist. It's the Cosmo Junior Track 4, a smartwatch that is a phone for calling and texting, GPS tracking, safety alerts, and more. In fact, parental controls gives moms and dads peace of mind as they can check their child's location. They can manage their contacts and even allow for apps like Spotify Kids. It's $129 for the Cosmo Junior Track 4 Kids smartwatch, a great price, and you can go to cosmotogether.com to learn more. Next up, if you're treating the family to a new computer for the holidays, or maybe yourself, no judging, then there's a PC I wanted to tell you about, the Asus ZenBook S14. It's a stellar laptop that's less than a half-inch thin. It's super durable with this new Ceraluminum material, which fuses ceramics with aerospace-grade aluminum, has a stunning 3K OLED touchscreen, and Copilot Plus. Those AI features are baked in to help you get more done in less time, whether you're using this for work, for play, for content creation, or for school. Battery life tops 20 hours thanks to the Intel Core Ultra processor. Prices start at $1399 for the Asus ZenBook S14 at asus.com, but check for some deals at bestbuy.com. And speaking of laptops, external storage is incredibly important for all computer users, but for those with a need for speed, like content creators, who are editing videos or photos on the go, the SanDisk Extreme Portable SSD has read and write speeds over 1 gigabyte per second. That's super fast through the USB-C or Thunderbolt connection. And this SanDisk drive now comes in storage capacities up to 8 terabytes, which is huge. They're also light and durable. There's a little loop for a carabiner clip if you want to attach it to your backpack or purse or what have you. Prices start at $89 for the half gig model, and it goes all the way up to 8 terabytes. SanDisk.com has more. And finally, we all love binging TV shows and streaming movies, and there are sales on the Roku Pro Series TV family. These smart TVs with the award-winning Roku platform built in are packed with features like a lost remote finder button, cable straps, simple setup, and a height-adjustable stand. The screen is stunning with QLED, mini LED technology, and something also called Roku Smart Picture Max. And it's got great audio too. Screen sizes range from 55 to 65 to 75 inches, and prices starting at just $699 at Roku.com. But look for deals at your favorite big box retailer leading up to the holidays, especially on that 75-inch model of the Roku Pro Series TVs. Well, there you have it, a look at some games and gadgets, perfect to help check off your gift list just ahead of the holidays. Last month, Intel launched its new Intel Core Ultra 200 series processor family that scales AI PC capabilities to desktop platforms instead of laptops for the first time, and ushering in the first enthusiast desktop AI PCs. What's cool is that these new computers significantly cut power usage while retaining amazing gaming performance. And so the result is a cooler and quieter user experience, but again, enhanced AI gaming and creation capabilities for content creators like yours truly. In fact, Intel Core Ultra 200S series processors deliver up to 50% faster performance. More info on the new Intel Core Ultra 200 series desktop PCs is at intel.com. As we wrap up another episode of Tech It Out, I wanted to give a shout out to Intel. As you just heard, they are the title sponsor on this program. A monster thank you to Visa for being such a great partner, as well as Western Digital and their sub-brands WD My Passport Drives, WD Black for gamers, SanDisk, and more. If you want to say hi on social media, or if you've got tech questions for me, it's Mark Saltzman, MarcSaltzman. I'm on X, Blue Sky, Threads, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, TikTok, and others. Have a great rest of your day, everyone. Looking forward to catching up with you next weekend for another brand new episode of Tech It Out. Bye-bye for now.